Good day everyone and welcome to another vlog for the Exodus 7 to 12K JV project. This week I actually had to re-render that shot twice again from last week. So unfortunately I didn't get to do a lot more new stuff this week, but I did actually get to do another new shot for the week. Which is just basically Moses looking at Pharaoh to elicit a response from having struck the river and the river turning into blood. So I'm going to show you the finished shot, and then I'm going to show you the new shot, and then I'm going to talk about the new shot. I also got to do a little sound work, which you're going to be hearing right now. So what I did was, for this shot, I added a little bit of a whoosh and the water splash type sound, and I used a different splash and a different whoosh for the second part so that it corresponds with the slower motion. It just worked better that way. So yeah, for shot. Actually, I'm going to play them together because they're already in the edit. That's basically it. I have to say the first part's whoosh is a little bit out of timing, so I definitely have to fix that a little bit later. But the reason I had to re-render it again was that little origin point over there grew way too fast. And of course, I wanted to add a little bit more definition so that you can see that it thickens out like really quickly. So I added a blend in there so that you can see over there it starts to get darker progressively. It doesn't just go dark. So you can see that it expands as well, and then it gets dark. So I had to add that as well, and it's definitely better for it. I really, really like the final shot there. So you can see it in slow motion. Wow. And then, of course, Moses looks for a reaction, and you can see that the river is not good to drink, I can tell you that. Now, I can say if this is what the river looked like, because obviously I've never seen a river turn into blood personally. But ironically, I have asked. But I think I put that in one of the earlier posts, so you can go and check that out if you want to. So let's talk about this new shot. So the original shot actually had a bit of a zoom on the front end of it. So just for the sake of being able to work with the visual, I'm going to just put it down there. Okay. So what it started off, there we go, is with a quick zoom. This shot over here, which actually looks pretty darn amazing, I have to say. I really like it. And then, of course, there's a very rapid zoom in. And on that zoom in, you can see that the focus starts to come to Moses. Moses. I need a nap. Anyway, so it then continues. And then the shift of the focus goes to the background. And then it just holds. So what I might do, and this is kind of the leading I'm getting at the moment, I'm not 100% on this, is to actually have Pharaoh respond before the shift to the background. I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely thankful that I'm not like super precious concerning every little frame that is rendered, because it allows me to, if something doesn't work, just cut it out or redo it or whatever the case might be. And I'm not talking about like needlessly re-rendering a shot that takes like 4 days. I'm talking about stuff like this. This took an afternoon. Seriously, this shot took an afternoon to, actually it took a whole day. It took all day to finish this shot. So I don't want to waste any time, I want to be productive with the time that I have. So anyhow, so that's the shot for this week. And of course I use that defocus node to kind of darken Moses a little bit because he was way too bright, so you couldn't focus really on the river. And it moves a little fast. I'm going to mute the sound. Check out the speed at which it goes. It's rather fast. Now, the reason it's fast is because we're talking about a proper river, you know. If it turns to blood, it's still going to flow because it's still going downhill. Blood doesn't clot in a few seconds, you know. It would still flow fairly strong. It's just blood instead of water. I know blood is generally thicker than water, but like I said, it's still a river. It would still flow just like, like a mudslide. If you look at all those natural disaster videos and stuff, when the water with all that mud just storms down a hill or something, it just looks like brown water. That's the whole point. So this just looks like red water with a blue reflection from the sky, creating this purpley kind of effect. So anyway, that's Moses. For the audio, I extended the river. It's kind of like a soft sound of rapids in the distance. I kept that in the shot. The music will probably overwhelm it. If it doesn't make any audible difference, I might probably remove it. But I kept it there because it sounded very empty without it. I also did another thing. For the first magician, this section over here, I was actually able to record a fire, a real fire, you know, that's actually consuming like stubble and all that kind of stuff. It was absolutely awesome. And it crackled like you would not believe. I was so surprised that it sounded like popcorn. I mean, who knew? So this is what that handshake with the energy kind of stuff sounds like. Look at his wrist, good grief. Anyway. Now, the reason I want to use fire in this specific instance is because of the fact that the word enchantments, at least as it's translated on Study Light, refers to the fire of an angel. Now, the fire of an angel typically represents the angel's ability to do stuff. So whether it's similar to a physical fire, I don't know. Obviously, it would be, otherwise it wouldn't be called that. But I don't know if it has the same properties, the same sound, that sort of thing. Probably not. It would probably be something more of a kind of heat that changes things. I don't know. It's difficult to describe. So I just moved it up a little bit. It felt like it stopped a little short. So let's listen to that again. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. So for the snakes, I considered adding it, but there's all sorts of bird sounds in between, so I don't want to mess with that. But I really do like the sound of the snake's transformation with that little faked crackle for the fire. So just as a recap. Super awesome. I just absolutely love it. I can't wait until the sound effects are all in and the music is in there. It's just going to be super awesome. Can't wait. Absolutely can't wait. Okay, so let's see. I'm sure there was something else as well. No. Oh, yes, there is actually something. This wasn't done this week. I did it a few weeks ago, but I don't think I mentioned it. And that is over here with, let me just find it. There, with his eyes darkening. I actually rendered out the slides that come down over his eyes to create that focus point, to make sure that it runs a lot faster, because everything that Blender has to recreate every time it renders it makes it slower. And this thing especially, it's also not relative. So for example, if you use proxies, the blur is not consistent to the resolution that you're actually seeing. Just like the text tool is also not relative to the size that you see on screen. So anything that you could say is volatile, I try to render it out beforehand so that I can just lay it over the edit. Take, for example, the shadow from the video itself that I put over the strips that you can see right now. You can see that it's nice and smooth and all that kind of stuff. I actually blurred a square, a black square in GIMP, and that is what I use as the backdrop. I don't actually duplicate the video and make it black and then blur it because Blender is too slow. And that's not to insult Blender, it's just the way it is. So you have to find a way to do things faster. So I still used Blender's tool to create this, the strips and stuff, but I rendered it out and used images instead. You can see if I take it out here. So I used 2 to make it as strong as possible. And of course that works for 3D and 2D as well because they're next to each other. So that's really cool. And then it's transformation and that's a horrible frame to stop at. So here you can see the river before. And of course the river after. Before, after, before, after. So there's a very clear difference between the two. So I also did get to record some other new sounds this week as well, including more thunder. Okay, so I have a few here. You can see that I have 8 in all. So I'm just going to take you through a few of them. I can actually take you through all 8. Obviously, I need to delete that little last part over there, but very cool. I think if you wanted to fake thunder, you would need a symphony drum set and, of course, the typical aluminum sheet. That would definitely create it. You can listen to it again. Picture yourself with a sheet of tin foil, the aluminum, that large piece, and of course a symphony drum set. It's just a matter of getting that coordination just right, but I think you can actually do it that way. So if any of you do actually get it done that way, post it in, post a comment below so the rest of us can see how it turned out. The hissing that you hear in between is actually the sound of the rain. I tried to clean it up as good as possible. Now, you would not believe the difference between the original and this one. I used a plugin that I'll talk more about in the post called Floorfish. It actually has a dynamic, what do you call it? A detection of noise. So you can actually find the frequency at which you get that hissing sound, and the program, the little plugin, will detect that. And as it detects more or less of it, it would increase or decrease the strength of the effect based on what you tell it you want it to do. So definitely check that out in the post. I'll put a link and all that kind of stuff there. So yeah. I love that last part, good rumble. That's a good opener. would be good with the other opener. Now, of course, there is a problem with the fact that I have to record these indoors so that my phone doesn't get like super wet or whatever. And of course, the rain. And of course, it's dangerous to be outside in a lightning storm. But I have to say that sharpening up the sound and removing a lot of that hissing makes a very, very big difference. But like I said, it's ideal to be outside when this happens before it rains so that you can get a very, very clean thunder sound. I think if the wind doesn't blow like ridiculously hard or something, you should be able to get a clean sound. It's very difficult. Thunder doesn't always cooperate. The good thing about it is that it's generally like super, super loud. So if you are outside, you might be able to turn it down enough that the rain and stuff can be removed as background noise without eating away too much at the thunder itself. Now, a lot of you guys know the nuisance of trying to get 3D video uploaded onto YouTube since they removed that little tick box. Now, thankfully, I've got on my side, so he always helps me with this kind of stuff. And I struggled for weeks, if not months, trying to get this whole metadata thing to make sense to me or whatever. And so finally God helped me get the thing right. So I actually made a video about how to upload side-by-side 3D content. I'll put that in the post as well. So this particular video that you're looking at right now is actually a 3D version of the strike, the 3D version of the strike. You can see I use a distortion technique. You can see it over here. That's why this one isn't really suited for 2D viewing. The distortions and stuff actually don't make much of a difference in the final 3D one, but it definitely makes a difference when you're trying to view something. It looks like there's something wrong with the signal. But I'm going to show you what this looks like in 3D, and then I'm going to show you that it actually displays in 3D on YouTube. Okay, so there you go. You can see that it's on a lower resolution, but that's just for the sake of the upload speed. And of course data, because at the moment I do have a few data limitations. So I'm just going to let it run. You can check it out if you've got anaglyph classes. Of course, I added audio to see if the settings that YouTube gives would actually copy the audio. It's supposed to, and you would assume that it would, but not necessarily. You'd be surprised how much doesn't actually work out the way you'd expect it to. So that's just the fast shot. So this is what it looks like on YouTube. So you can see that it does work. Just for the sake of interest, you can see that the quality is very low on YouTube. That's not YouTube's fault. Remember that. I just uploaded a very low resolution version so that it would, number one, go up fast, and number two, wouldn't cost me like a heck of a lot of data. So yeah. So if you're trying to upload stereoscopic 3D content that's side by side instead of top and bottom, this is definitely the tutorial for you. I did notice that for some reason it doesn't want to show 3D on my phone. But the other stuff that used to have the tick box does. So I know that there's something off with the whole metadata thing, but I'm not sure where to report it. So it's just one of those things. So anyway, that's it for this vlog, this week's vlog actually. Have a great one and God bless you.